My first car was a 1955 Chevy, which was given to me on my birthday by my sister and my brother-in-law. It was kind of high, you know, stock original, and I put big tires on it. When I first got it painted, it was still hot rod style, and that's when one of my friends had loaned me the wheels to chauffeur him in a wedding. He asked me if I was chauffeuring in a wedding. I asked him why. I go, my car's not, you know, lowered like all the other cars that were chauffeuring. And he goes, I'll tell you what. He goes, we'll put my tires on your car, and we'll see what it looks like. We put bricks in the trunk to lower it. It didn't look as nice up in the air as it did on, you know, a little lower. I went ahead and lowered it, and in time I got into fixing it up and putting hydraulics and stuff into it. First paint job we put on it was from my brother-in-law, which is he's a custom car painter, and he put the first pearl job really that was around Norwalk. I went ahead and painted it myself, which was a candy apple red with a red flake top, which was for the street again. And the first car show paint job was a shining star paint job. I painted it all silver flake with different color candy colors on it. It had sequence, micro sequence, and all alpha jewels in it. I gave it the name Shining Star, made a plaque and everything for it, and I showed it for 2 years under that name and that same paint job. I painted the car again. I did a complete custom job to it as far as being a show car. I put the 4 swivel seats in it, the bar, the TV, had the light bar in it, and mirror ceiling. Headliner and everything was all glass. I started getting into winning a lot more trophies and stuff, bigger trophies, and going for sweepstakes, and that's when I called the car Brick House. And I was into car shows at first. During that time they had hopping contests, and I used to go out and watch them in competition. There was more money, more excitement, there was a challenge, and it's like a sport type of thing. That's the way I see a hopping contest. I just do it for competition to prove to myself that I can do more and more. Back in the earlier days when I first came across hydraulics, the older pumps had a separate tank which looked like an oxygen tank. The pump itself had a bunch of old type pipe fitting stuff hooked up to it. They looked pretty strange. They were an old Army surplus warplane parts is what they were, until somebody figured out that they could use a tailgate pump, which is an oil pump too, which is a lot better, saved a lot more batteries, didn't have as much strain on it, and made the car come up a lot better. Back around 71, 72, people would put up a case of beer and say whoever does the best would get the case of beer, or different car clubs would compete against each other. The best competition was started around 7, 8 inches. Around 73, 74, it was up to as far as 12 inches. And then around 75 is when they started using multi-pumps. And that's when Mark Spankel from San Jose came out with something really far out, as far as he put 6 pumps in a car and got it up as high as 54 inches. After the multi-pump started, the radical hopping started. They had like the back bumper was like 8.5 feet off the ground, and they would move the suspension forward. They'd modify the whole suspension completely. Some of them didn't have no drive line in them. They were completely just engine and tranny, and that was about it. But the main thing was the batteries. They would put up as many as 35, maybe 40 batteries in the trunk. Because it was a big difference, you know, from seeing a car do 10 inches to start seeing somewhere around 30, anywhere from 30 to 102 inches. And the people just started liking to see the car go higher and higher till it finally turned into a big joke. You know, it started to be a phony type of hop. It would be, the only winner would be is whoever had the most weight. And like I say, it top ended up as at 102 inches. And the crowd just got tired of waiting for the car to get up so high and then just stand on its back bumper. That's when they changed it all over back into single pump hopping. That's when the real competition started. Well, as far as buying pumps and getting different parts for my car, I'll trade work, I'll paint a car, or I'll exchange parts here and there. I hardly ever go to a hydraulic store and buy parts. I use the same parts I've had, I just take good care of them. From a 59 Chevy to a 64 Chevy, those are about the best frames that were made as far as hopping competition. Those are about the best built frames for hopping. You have less problems with trying to get the car to get up because the suspension is built more or less for what you're looking for. Hitting the switch is one of the biggest part of the hop. It's just like getting into dancing. You got to have a beat to the car. You go with the movement of the car, and you just get a rhythm going. Yeah, Sonny, just said yeah.
You got it inside or we got it? Well,
It's in the garage. I work every day, and the only time I put into the car is a couple of nights before the show, just recharging the batteries, checking all the frame, checking the bushings, making sure the car is completely tight. I spend the rest of my time with my wife and kids. I don't ever take it out and drive it on the street or anything before any shows. We took it out this time to make sure because the car was only the second time out, and we wanted to take some extra pumps, so we went ahead and tried out a couple of pumps and made sure they were doing good. Good thing we tried the pumps because at the time that we tried them, we bent a shaft in the front. The frame was still pretty tight, and the cylinders hadn't set the way they were supposed to, and when I gave it a few clicks, the shaft had just slipped out of the coil, and it bent the shaft. It took us a good couple hours to take everything out as the shaft was bent so bad. We had to take the cylinder completely apart in the cutout itself and pull it apart piece by piece. It could happen at any time, and if we would have went out to Phoenix, that probably would have happened over there. How much difference there is. So, put it back together and try it again. See what happens. Eddie Garcia, my pit man, I met him through a hydraulics shop. We ended up being partners. Eddie's a real good hopper himself. His name is Pumpman Eddie. We usually get together before the hop, maybe a couple of days, and we double check the car, make sure everything's okay, check the coils, batteries, make sure all the bushings are okay and ball joints. Eddie would make sure I had enough motors, casings. He would be more or less in charge of all the parts, make sure everything was there. He would be my trunk man. He would be carrying a fire extinguisher most of the time. He'd hold a set of bolt cutters in case of a short. That's usually what a trunk guy would do. He'd be your partner watching the rear end of the car while you're hopping the front. There was a lot of competition then, and he wasn't doing as good as he thought, and I was doing okay, and we put ourselves together and we became champs that year. We only lost maybe 2 hops out of all the hops we went to. Yeah, the Phoenix Car Show is usually a real good show. That year that we went, it was an indoor hop. It was like 100 and something outside, and inside was air conditioned, and all the hoppers were inside, all the show cars were inside, and there was a lot of people there. It was well organized. Johnny was in charge of everything, Johnny Lazoya. He usually throws a good show. He tells everybody like it is. He'll go out there with a rule sheet and he'll tell everybody you got so many batteries limit, no weight. The car's got to be complete. Most of the lowrider shows are that way. Everybody at a hop, usually you get 2 tries to go out there and do your best. First time out you go out, when you get out in the arena, there's 2 judges, 1 on each side and 2 guys holding the ruler. So it's pretty accurate from the ground to the bottom of the tires what they're looking at.
okay, Richard Gonzalez, first try.
You look at all the judges, make sure they're ready. They'll go ahead and give you an okay sign to start hopping. Once you stop, you don't keep hitting it again, that's it. Once you let go of the switch and the car stops, that's your first hop. For the 62 there, it probably would have got up a little better with a bigger pumping gear maybe, or maybe a different set of coils, or maybe a couple more batteries. It did what it could there. It looked like everything was going good. That's all the pump would do, though. When we went up to Phoenix for this hop, everybody was talking about Willie's car was supposed to be doing, real good. He's from Tucson, I think, and he's a pretty good competition hopper there. That day, I did watch for Willie's car. When I seen it get up, it scared me at first. It was doing real good, and it just finally broke. So after that, it was all over for him. He might have been able to get it back together, but chances were not too good that day. The main competition guy, Willie, was the one that everybody would be worried about. He broke down, so it was all over for him, and it left it toward me and Danny. Danny's known pretty good by everybody that hops. He's at all the hops. Danny drives from all the way from San Fernando. It's a little farther than where I went from. And if he is there, like I say, I'm watching for him just as well as everybody else. I know he's going to be doing something pretty good.
Okay, let's hear it for Danny Torres. Rag Top. 16 and a half for Danny Torres from San Fernando, California.
I go out there like a professional, type racer guy would go out there with a nice painted car. Once it's all done, I figure there's no reason for it not to look good. It's like going out and on stage in front of a bunch of people. You get a little nervous, but I don't let it bother me. I just pay attention to the car. There's no time to look around because you'll mess up on a switch. You're ready or you're not ready, or your mind goes to somewhere else and you'll miss a hit, and that's when you lose out. I tie the front steering wheel down so that the tires don't turn when I'm hopping, because sometimes when the car starts to climb, the tires will start to turn, and if they turn too far when you're hopping, you might break something. I leave my car neutral, and if it's built right, it shouldn't go nowhere but straight up and down. In the front, I use stock rims all the time so that the weight hits evenly on the drum. It's not hitting on the outside. And in the back, it doesn't really make no difference, so I leave the wire wheels that the car's got on it all the time. Usually I'm listening for the sound of the pump. My ears, tuned into the trunk, and I try to listen to the motor of the pump, and that's what I go by. If the motor's not getting no strain, I know the car's doing good. First time out on that hop there at the Phoenix show, I got 21 and a half the first time, and the second time out I did better, and I got 22 and a half, and that was a winning height that day. Me and Eddie took first place that day, and we went home with a trophy and the money. I won the $1,500 prize, which it was given that day. At the time, my wife was expecting a baby, so I was kind of nervous. I got there, and I wanted to do what I had to do and get back on the road so I could get home.